Hello, this is Leslie, and welcome to this week's Pick a Card reading. We are going to be looking at what the celestials are saying about you. What is the tea on you in the celestial realms? Who's watching over you? What are the heavens saying about you? What are they hoping for you? And so before we get into this reading, I invite you to just sort of take a deep breath, to step into a sacred space from where you are, and just intend to connect with your guides and your ascended ancestors and the version of yourself that is infinite, that has already lived this life. And as you intend to connect with that version of yourself, I intend to connect with that version of myself. And as we enter into this reading, our highest selves with us, we have three different piles here. The first pile is going to be this frog right here. The second pile is going to be this little dog print or wolf print. This is a rock, actually, and it very naturally has the print of a foot in it. And then we have, that's pile number 2. Then we have pile number 3, which is the rabbit, the little rabbit. And so if you want to just confer with your highest self and see which pile resonates for you, it could be all of them, it could be none of them. Allow yourself to sort of enter this with a curiosity and a willingness to be met by your guides in any way that is helpful and hopeful for you. And if it doesn't fit, that's okay. That just means another reading will. So with that, let's go ahead and begin. Okay, pile number 1, those of you that chose the frog, let's go ahead and take a look and see what is the celestial tea on you. What are the higher echelons saying? What are they communicating about when they communicate about you? And right away, I feel a real warmth. The castle. Let's see, let's get one more from this deck. And the unseen. And actually one more. 2 more. All right, let's see, because there's actually a lot here. I wasn't expecting to, I was actually going to be like 2 cards to look at them, but it's like your guys are like, there's so much for you to look at in terms of what the tea on you is. And so you are, with this vessel card, there's something that you are carrying or some ability, and especially as a vessel, like we're talking about a channel. And a channel is either going to channel in like artistic inspiration, like all true, like that moment of like catching the divine genius, or, you know, having the divine genius move into what you're doing, and then suddenly whatever the art form is, there's a flow state, you know, you lose time and like something magnificent happens. And so you have this ability, or there's something about this ability with you that is of note that they're talking about. And so you're also holding something unique, I see. Let's take a look. There's a story about what you're carrying, and the apocalypse speaks to a kind of revelation. Apocalypse, like, I'm just feeling for this energy because it's interesting, because there's something that you reveal. And so the celestial tea on you is interestingly like that you have brought a revelation in something that you're carrying, something that you're experiencing for even them. And that's fascinating, because with the unseen and the castle, and again, there's something that you carry. The underworld, the queen, and especially sort of in reverse, and this gnosis card. Let's get some more information on this. I want to see this a little more clearly. Actually, you know what? I'm going to just focus. It's funny because it's possible that in the life that you're in, like in the confines of the walls that you experience yourself from, your actual like lived world with this castle, it might be very small. You might have like a very small circle of friends, or very little in the way of like family, or it's possible that you live somewhere far away from the people that would otherwise be around you, right? And so there's something about an insulated, even like captive nature. And you may have had a life story here with this castle where you've just spent a lot of time in some form of isolation or some form of disconnect from the rest of the world, where, you know, what it means to really meet you in the space where you exist. Like there's a castle, there's walls. With the unseen and the underworld, especially together in this way, I do think that there is a tremendous influence in your life and in your experience and what it means to express as you, And like there's something about your interaction with the unseen and the underworld. This can speak to psychic ability. This can speak to sort of being interdimensional, being between two dimensions, either by default or by genetic like variation. Like you have this ability to operate within more than one world. And this has to do, like we could say that this is an offshoot from whatever circumstance has you sort of locked in. You're connected to other realms. Now, with the vessel and the queen here, and the gnosis, this is kind of mysterious. I want to look at that a little bit more with some help. I want to get some more cards on that. So with the celestial T on you is that you've sort of like, in whatever form of, you know, the castle is also something very valuable. I'll be honest, this actually holds a little bit of sadness, this card right here. They see a lot of what is unwitnessed. Oh man, I just got hit with such a moment of grief almost. Part of the celestial T on you is that they see all that goes unnoticed. And they see you also see all that goes unnoticed. And they see in which, like, they've almost given you a peek or a window into all of the audience that actually surrounds you in the way of this unseen realm. And the underworld is an interesting thing here because you have this connection to the underworld. There's no two ways about it. And this might be something that is part of this vessel, sort of a queen combination here, and this gnosis. I think that you've experienced some level of apocalypse within yourself. And it has you also in between worlds. So there's something very powerful about like a liminal space here of like where there's walls, where there's distance. And it might be even like a unique experience that sets you apart. And so with this, I'm just gonna, if you hear my dog whimpering in the back, it's because she's just crying for us. Or she's actually looking at a squirrel outside. With the trickster energy here, I want to look at what that means because there's a story with you and the glimmer here. There's a story with you that is being talked about in the celestial realms. And with the bottom of the deck being about hidden, again, like there's a great deal that goes unseen in your day-to-day life. It might be one of these stories where the book opens and from the outside perspective of the people that live on the block or the people that live on the town, you know, in the town, you know, you might seem like just like, you know, something like a hermit, you know what I mean? Or, you know, living a very like simple, like librarian kind of a life. But what your guides are saying and what the celestial T is that when you go into the house, you know, when you bring, like your internal world and where you actually live and where you're actually creating from, it's not what it seems. It's not the way that it looks. And that trickster energy is some kind of a story that you're a part of in terms of like this intersection between like where you create from, where you are of such great value, all that is unwitnessed, all that is unseen, this connection to other dimensions, other worlds, what you carry with you in the way of like an authority and even a beauty. There are those around you that regard, like the celestial sort of T is that there are those around you that regard you, those that witness you, that regard you very much like in this like regal kind of a way. There's almost like an element of worship there. And with the gnosis here, like what you are carrying, the knowing that you are carrying, it carries the seed or the wisdom or the sight of something that like has the ability to upset the apple cart on reality. Like it just is something so like that apocalyptic nature is revelatory. It's like the angel of revelation. It's like the moment that you see the panoramic view and like all along it was this other thing, and if you'd only known. There's something about like what you carry in the way of a glimmer. Let's get a few more cards on that. Let's see what that means. So the T on you is you're a part of this story. I want to see what the story with the trickster is. Because again, what is hidden from like the sight of like the day-to-day people's, you know, like your guides kind of want to congratulate you on the richness of your life that they get to share with you is so beautiful. If you could only see the radiance that they experience and that the radiance that those that, I hope that wasn't tilted that whole time. The radiance that those who talk about you, you know, that they sit for a very long period. I'm seeing that there are councils, you know, when it comes to you and what you've done and who you are. And the story, you bring an apocalypse of some kind of revelation to a greater system of I want to say spiritual wisdom. You're kind of a shock to a lot of like the ascended ancestors and the ascended guides, and the way that you like weave meaning out of the states of like intense stress that you've lived through. And this kind of apocalyptic, you know, like end of one way of seeing things and beginning of new. Yeah, the telepathy here. They communicate with you constantly, by the way. And they sort of like a lot. They do a lot of communicating with you constantly. And there's a way in which they want to lift you up. With the energy field adjustment. Okay, so there's something here about a way that you view yourself, or a way that you view your life, or the way that you view your experience. The trickster energy comes in a lot of different forms. You know, the trickster energy can be like a story about the world that you're in that just isn't true, that you operate by. A trickster energy can be a self-worth issue that you make decisions from that your guides don't see, like why you would ever choose that when you're holding this thing with the vessel, when you're holding something so valuable. And so with the energy field adjustment here being about what you're holding, your status at a spiritual level, you have a spiritual status. The T on you is that you have a spiritual status. You have a spiritual status that goes largely unseen, but it's not. And so this trickster energy is about what it means to sort of bring your voice into the world, to bring this apocalypse into the world with you, to sort of enter into like the faith of this knowing. And there's a need for something here with like this particular combination of cards. They're talking about this. They're talking about whether or not you are going to rise, whether or not you're going to rise up. This glimmer, this hope, what you're carrying in the way of a hope is actually a hope for many. Like you walk into these dark spaces and they see you and they see what it is that you have in the way of potential, and they see the apocalypse, you know, of whatever the vision that comes through you ends up being. They're able to participate even. But the trick is whether or not you will in fact rise. So that glimmer of hope that they sort of talk about when, you know, what's the celestial T on you, that you're carrying something so valuable, that what you have to bring into the world is of such importance, and that they hope that you can rise from this place of solitude almost. So that, and that rising also means throwing off the weights of everything that protects you in the way of a story that says you're not safe to open your mouth, you're not safe to interact, you're not enough of this, enough of that, you look this way or you look that way, you were this age or you were that age. There's a lot that they want to take off you in the way of weight. And this telepathy here speaks to some viewpoint or some vantage point or something that you think about yourself. And whatever that trickster energy is, it's going to be energies that like accuse you of being anything less than the glimmer of hope that you are for so many and for so much. And so with this energy field adjustment here, being about like moving this notion of like what seems to be hidden. So the T is like, you know, you're poised, you're a glimmer of hope, you are in like these places where you've trespassed into glory, you know what I mean, to a certain extent. And that gnosis is like, will you come into knowing about what it is that you hold that has the power to have like, has an apocalyptic sort of a revelation, a shocking power. And it's not like all the way there, you know, there is a distance between like what you carry and like, and how you're able to present and bring it through, because I'm feeling an energy, like a powerful energy of like what I would call some sort of like a shame component with this, especially in terms of like there is that trickster manages to drive you all the way in, to keep you all the way in. There's so much that needs to happen here. And so the telepathy is almost a satisfaction, you know what I mean, that needs to be adjusted as well. So let's take a look and see what let's see who watches over you. I want to see who's watching over you throughout this process and leading you through this process. Because this is what you represent. You represent a glimmer of hope when they talk about you. You know, the celestial T is like that one. If that one can rise up, like if that one can release, you know, like if that one can sort of come into an understanding, see, open that eye, if this energy adjustment can occur. And it's not like you're doing something wrong. Like this is the grand game of it in some way. And we're always playing with like the potentials, And our guides like say, you know, you come to this earth to play with the potentials. And so you're holding this tremendous potential. And who watches over you? Let's see who watches over you. 5 of Cups. The Hierophant. And the 7 of Swords. You know, it's interesting because the 7 of Swords also kind of speaks of trickster energy. The Hierophant speaks of order, and like that's almost like, honestly, it's almost like Vatican energy. And that 5 of Cups is a great amount of grief. And so that's an interesting energy. Like that's a twist, you know, with the Chariot here about moving on from something or moving in a new direction. Let's see. Well, we're going to let this be a little bit longer because I have a mystery to solve with all this. Let's see where we're going with these energies. So I think you feel a lot of grieving because you hold so much potential. And so there is this aspect of it. Let me just see what this is. Let me get a little clearer on this. This water flight card, the heaviness lifts, burdens are cast away, weightlessness is connected to this 5 of Cups. And so you have an energy that is really working with you, who in their life had a level of heaviness, had a level of grief, had a level of never being able to see what was available to them because they were always looking at what was lost or what could be lost. And so like part of what this 5 of Cups energy, that's sort of being consumed by the loss. And this is an energy here, like who watches over you? There's an energy very much pulling for you, working with you, like working toward a release of all of this grief. And so that's part of the energy that travels with you. The Hierophant is an energy of trying to structure you, needing to structure you, wanting to structure you, crying from the rooftops of anti-structure and refusal of demands to sort of try and get you to actually like take the steps to put those structures in place. And that 7 of Swords that's an interesting one. Let me just get a couple more cards. Playful energies. Really playful energies. Yeah, trying to get you to communicate through the structure, find a structure to communicate with. Prince and Poet. Bottom of the deck energy is an Advocate. And so you have a lot of powerful energies pulling for you. There's no two ways about it. But there is such a aspect of like what this is. Let's get this all kind of together, because like we're talking about a journey where, you know, the Chariot, like there's one horse that wants to go in this direction, there's one horse that wants to go in this direction, you want to go in this direction, and you have to find a way to get these horses to go to get to that direction. And so like this is a life journey that is going to entail some level of struggle, muscle gaining, and taming of a thing. And so with the Advocate here being about the energy that like is advocating for your success, advocating for your, like, for this revelation, like there's something about this journey and this struggle that entails bringing this gnosis, this inner knowing that it can't be shaken. It's true. It's truer than anything else. You know, this inner gnosis has to be brought into some form. And it's an inner gnosis related to your value with the Queen, a value that you have there's a reason why it's so hard for you to access this. And that it's like unlocking the door, solving the riddle, having the epiphany, like all of that with this Apocalypsis card is about really transforming the sight, the view, the vantage point, the landscape of things. And so for you that is buried deep within you, and finding what that truth is, this is what this 7 of Swords, it's hidden. There's something tricky about it. There's something that you can't see. There's something that is like hard for you to grasp at. And that 5 of Cups, again, there's like a failure of true vision. And so what they're saying really is that like you have a mission here to bring this truth that you carry in this form of a vessel about what it means to be a certain kind of royalty. And royalty, like I don't see that hierarchical as like a hierarchical thing. I think it's sort of like your true self. with the unseen and the underworld and the captivity and the trickster energy here and the guides that are trying to sort of move you from this place of not really fully being able to grasp, not really fully being able to see, like not having that mirroring. There's a lack of true mirroring for you. And so like getting to this truth, like unburying this truth, it requires these guides, one that is trying to lift your heart up, that is trying to get you to shake it off, you know, to get back into the ring, you know what I mean, to see it as a game, to be playful about it, to delight in the arts without having to be professional. You know, don't be superficial in your, you know, your approaches. Don't be, you know, this is an energy that is really trying to get you to stop looking at the potential losses and the potential for loss and the tyranny of instability, and to look at all that you have and all that you have to work with in terms of communicating with and through, and so to like throw off the weight of it all. And then you have another energy that is absolutely here as the divine muse, the inspirer, that which wants to bring in that inspiration, you know, that channel vessel, that channel through that inspiration on the answer to whatever this riddle, this epiphany, this revelation ends up being. That energy that is in charge of advocating for your success with all this. Like there is a I want to say it's the divine genius, but it's here to like give you the wisdom, give you the inspiration, but it needs a structure to move through. And so there's a lot of effort right now in terms of helping you have that energy adjustment by creating that structure that you can then move this inspiration through. It's huge, massive. You're tasked with this. The house might be a mess. You know, like there's something to that. With the Seven of Swords on this Judge card here, this is about unlocking the mystery, which means that there's some sort of information that you have taken in, that you have internalized, that you believe, that you are holding to, that you have an attachment to. Think about like an attachment, like a spiritual attachment, and think of that spiritual attachment as being to some kind of story that is obscuring your worth in one way or another, or obscuring what it means for you to get where you're meant to go or to be seen. Because that judge is going to be an inner voice, and it's going to be a belief system, and it's going to be a persecutor. It's going to be an accuser. It's going to be attack thoughts. It's going to be attack words. It's going to be attack feelings. It's going to be like all sorts of stuff. And so this judge, that, you know, in the shadow aspect, offering only destructive criticism, misusing business, legal, and criminal authority. Like this is some kind of authority that needs to be overthrown. And you are doing this work, and your guides are saying like you are meant to come and bring this apocalypse, and it's going to be like, it's almost like I feel like it's like a revelation to even your system. And so I just want to get a few more cards, because with the Poet and the Prince here being about, you know, the one who watches over you loves you. The one who watches over you is a genius at expressing soul insights through symbolic language, which you are connected to with this telepathy. You are in a very beautiful relationship with the divine. And the divine energy that travels with you is deeply in love with you and makes poetry of as much as they can with you, and is a part of this inspiration. But this energy also operates as a trickster energy, because the trickster energy is about revealing your strengths, but also in some ways revealing your weaknesses. All relationships, and especially this relationship, like the tea on you is about this relationship, this divine relationship, and there is some aspect of encounters with the shadows, encounters with stuff from the past, energies from the past, influences from the past. And how that has to be undone is kind of this journey. And so let's get a couple more cards, just a few more on that. To see what they hope for you in terms of like, we get that structure is needed. Absolutely. We get that like whatever this guide that is with you that is like, take it lighter, take it easier, be gentler with yourself, take a gentler approach. Believe it or not, like, their entire life is about trying to take the weight of the world off of your shoulders, because you're holding up this defense. And I'm seeing this vision. It's like a biblical vision of one of the Bible characters who's like bringing down a city, and I don't know, I don't remember exactly, but they're bringing down a city. They're walking around the exterior outside of the walls, and they're walking around and they're singing praises or something. And then it's something about this magic of like walking and in this trance state of prayer and praise, that the city walls crumble and there's no rest, right? And so your energies are saying like you seem to be in this trance about what is needed for you to accomplish the goals that you see or the visions that you see, where you think you have to like walk without ceasing and have to be in this supplication and this prayer and in this perfection. And the opposite is true. You're meant to just drop all of that. The way to bring those towers down, not even towers, those walls, the way to bring those walls down is the opposite of ceaseless, war prayer, defense prayer. It's play. Those walls come down around a spirit of play. And so this is something that your guides are saying is like their hope for you is that you're able to take it all lighter, find that spirit of play, work with the technology of forgiveness, however that, whatever it means to sort of encounter that, and really put in the structure that is going to make it sort of effortless for you to express yourself. And so that's the sort of, they hope that sort of happens. That is kind of the is this going to happen? This is the celestial T. You have this potential. You are this like capacity for change in the world. If you get where you're going, and there is like this beautiful divine, like genius, divine muse, the telepathy with the poet and the prince, like you are loved by this energy that is basically like weaving worlds within your world to try and help you get to this site and get to this understanding. So let's just look at that Seven of Swords and that Judge card in terms of changing that internal voice, because that's kind of part of the advice and what they hope for you here is that if you can change this internal voice, if you can come out at it with a gentle touch, if you can put in all of that structure that they're advocating for and operate through that structure, you're going to make yourself really calm and give yourself all the room in the world to create from. But with the Seven of Swords and this Judge, because you have to sort of balance what it means to create this structure with a compassion and distribute your power in a way that like makes sense. Like there's a fight here with this Five of Swords. There's a big fight here. And this Eight of Cups. Queen of Wands is about setting yourself free. Setting yourself free, setting yourself free from a number of things. And basically as you set yourself free from a number of things, you open up the space within yourself to begin to experience something new. And it's in that new place that this new vision can come in, that this revelation can come in, that this epiphany, this apocalypse, this revealing of what was hidden. First, we need to put down the fight. We need to put down being the judge and the jury. We need to put down thinking that it's up to us. And this is just this pile. This is not for the whole wide world, but for you. You have done the work of identifying in every corner of the universe what needs to be fixed. And in that place of either great effort or learned helplessness, you see these problems as like being damning upon, like having the power to damn. And that does not dismiss the pain, the agony, the brutalizing misery, and the cruelty of like the past. Because that all exists, but in terms of a mechanism of getting the chariot where it's going, a lot of the energy that it takes to sort of judge everything and be sure about everything. Your guides want you to put that down with the Emperor card, because this weight of the world on your shoulders, the walls that you're holding up around you to protect you from what you have experienced in the way of hardship and pain, the level of emotional intelligence that you have is sufficient to keep you safe, is sufficient to defend you, and is sufficient to establish you in this Queen of Wands position. And so your guides want you to be able to lean on that and really look at everything that you know and making that meaning with it, but walking away from the fight of defending yourself, walking away from the fight of needing people to understand you in a certain way or else, walking away from any fight really, because you are just kind of tasked with that walking away here with that Eight of Cups and that Five of Swords, walking away from this fight taking control in terms of putting in structures with this Hierophant card and this Emperor card that are going to allow for an ease of expression. How can you put in structures that will make it easier for you to express yourself, easier for you to create, easier for you to build? But it's walking away from being harsh judge of yourself, harsh voices, being tyrannical with yourself about time. You're meant to step into a certain kind of ease and really focus on the goal. You have a world of energies around you that not only talk about your potential, but they advocate for you actively. And so with that trickster card really being about taking your energy away from things that are extorting that energy, taking your energy away from things that aren't building you up, taking your energy away from things that are scaring you. That doesn't mean that you're not aware of reality. You are, but you're not allowing the sting to deprive you of the ability to sort of take action on what it means to move all of this wisdom into some sort of a practice that allows for an expression with this Artist card and this Vessel card. That channeling of this divine wisdom into the world is actually removing yourself from the job of judge and jury and placing yourself in a place of observation and communication with ease. And so that's kind of the assignment. But what they're saying about you with this Four of Coins and this Queen of Wands is you're holding so tight to what you think that you have as being very little, and what you're really carrying into the world, and what you're really holding, and what you really have the power to sort of harness with this energy adjustment around your own value, the possibilities that exist for you, and what you carry out of this place of unseen, out of this place of hidden. It's going to take a little bit of work, but you do have a companion with you helping you. You do have a lot of advocates with you helping you. And it's all about getting you into this place of this reveal. And so with that, I'm going to ask one more question on what is the nature of this reveal? And then we can leave it there. I mean, this might kind of put you in a place where there are certain things to meditate on. But are you going to get there? I mean, that's the T on you right now. And your guys are saying you will get there. You're doing what you need to get there. This is actually a big effort. Your guys are saying there's a lot that is going to go into what it means to bring yourself from the place of hidden, where the world can't see all that you really bring, to a place of it's so incredible. I wish I could get a better way of putting it, but that apocalypse energy. It's you do something that shakes the foundations in community, and the temple path, and this Envy card, and the blossoming abundance with the 5th chakra, Archangel Gabriel. You may have something to deal with here, whether it's fear of envy, whether it's the curse of the evil eye that's that you have to generationally dismantle. Whatever that is, this is part of the work of this apocalypse. Because envy presupposes that something can even be taken from you, or that someone has something that is for you somehow. And so you might have to work on this. This might be something to work on. But with the community and the temple path, whatever this trickster energy that hovers around you, that whispers whatever it is that you're hearing, that keeps you from showing up all the way, that keeps you judging yourself, that keeps you judging others, that keeps you any kind of defensive posturing, that's in the way. But what you see when you're able to sort of move outside of whatever that is probably something about your value. And it's probably something about your value that at a level of gnosis, you even know. And so to step into this place of that position in community with the temple path that you're on, where there is blossoming above abundance and a true heart healing, you just need an energy adjustment about what you're listening to in the way of judgments. Because there is a trickster in the mix. But that trickster is really just trying to talk you out of what it means to stand in your worth, operate from your worth, and be fearless in that place of worth. And so pile number 1, those of you that chose the frog, this temple path is for you. And there is blossoming abundance on it. And so I'm grateful that we got to talk about what the T in the celestial realms is, because their hope for you is to step into this abundance, step into this place in community. And that means removing you somewhat from the shadow of the unseen. And so let's begin to think about what that means in terms of this journey. And again, I'm grateful we got to do this, and I'll see you again soon. Pile number 2, those of you that chose the paw print, let's go ahead and see what the celestial tea is on you. Let's see what your guides want to bring through on this. Let's see what the celestial tea is. With the Ace of Swords, the 5 of Swords, and the 8 of Cups. The Knight of Pentacles. Some sort of a change here. It's good though. All right, let's take a look. The tea on you right now, your guys are, you know, the celestials and the upper echelons are actually sort of just pointing into, like, they're saying, like, right now, the conversation is that this was always going to be kind of a hard spot. This is always going to be kind of a moment in time where something valuable that you were holding needed a redirection here with the Knight of Swords, sort of a starting point that was going to take some time and effort, and it would be a little bit of a fight, but in that fight there would be great victory. But it does require walking away from an old structure or an old way of doing things, or an old, like, you know, that Emperor energy, you know, is a tyrannical kind of an energy, but it's also an energy that, like, if you're under its domain, it kind of, yeah, let's see what it is. I can kind of see what all of it is, but your guys are saying with that 4 of Cups being about distraction and not really seeing, there's something about this journey, and it's very much like pinpointed to this moment in time on this path where there's a great pivot that needs to happen. And so your guides see you as a truth teller. They see you as being holding something very powerful and bringing in something very powerful in the way of, like, a truth, but, like, that the pacing has been sort of hard, and it may feel like there has been a great deal that you've had to fight your way through. And so your guys are saying that they really have seen the effort, and they actually think they're speaking to something that is a little bit like, they're like, we're not going to go away from it. Like, for this pile, those of you that like resonated with this paw print, they sort of want to talk to you about, there seems to be a little bit of shutdown here. There's a victory to be had. They want you to kind of step into what that means, but they're like, we see strain. So let's just kind of go into it and see what that, like, what this means. Because there's a great many things that they want to kind of compliment you on, but they're like, we don't want to complicate the message too much because there's this major transformation that is happening in this moment for you. And so the first thing that, like, you know, the tea in the celestial realms is you are going through a massive transformation. And they have seen this coming for a long time, and it's this incantation and this ledge, yeah, right at the edge of something, like bringing in something very, very new. And with what is hidden here in transformation, it's possible that pile number 1 might even be something that appeals to you, yeah, liminal space. Whew, let me just feel this. So the tea on you is that you are in this transformation, and that you're meant to be in some ways hidden during this transformation. You've had to walk away from something that, you know, I would call this a tyrant. And whether it's a tyrant person or a tyrant energy, it kind of made its mark. And it must have been, your guys are saying, like, you know, the tea on you is that you walked away from something. It was like breaking such a generational curse. And it was breaking so much, you know, that had been designed to hold you and keep you from this journey. You took this truth, this gnosis, this thing that you knew about yourself and where you wanted to be and who you wanted to be. And even without much of a vision at all, you took that journey and you began that journey. Everything has come against you on this journey in one way or another. That 5 of Swords speaks to a fight to the finish and you moving towards a victory. And that victory is walking away from this tyrannical energy. And walking away from this tyrannical energy and freeing yourself from this tyrannical energy has been like a 1, 2, 3 step process, in the sense that first you had to, like, whatever this physical removing yourself and, like, pushing you to the edge, having you have to call from the bottom of your soul strength. And this incantation is basically what has like gotten you as far as you've gotten. And it does feel like you're hanging at the ledge to a large degree, and your guides are like watching. You know, the T on you is that like this is an energy that is on the edge, calling in for our assistance, because there has been something in the way of like a very, very painful journey. And so that first moving physically away, that second moving emotionally away, and now that third walking away is walking away from the conditioning that happened. Like, and a good example is around something like time. Somebody who felt like your time belonged to them. Somebody who conditioned you to operate in fear of wasting time, or in fear of, hold on 1 second. Okay, I had to sort of stop for a moment because my dog was saying hello to the mailman. But what I'm seeing here in terms of what your guides are bringing through, and I'm kind of glad that I took a beat, because your guides are sort of able to sort of bring me into a sort of a lighter kind of a place with it, is whatever this conditioning is, like the walking away from that conditioning, like you're in it, and this transformation is happening, and this transformation is really powerful in terms of what it means to bring you into a next phase. So with this liminal space being about, you know, the T on you right now is that you're in a spot. You're in a spot of transformation. You're in a spot of from hidden into like view. You're in a spot of having been on a very long journey where you were just kind of like at the ledge and at the ledge and at the ledge. And what you're not seeing, I want to get some cards on what you're not seeing here, because who watches over you? I want to see what they're saying. I want to see like what they're saying in terms of this transformation, like where this transformation is leading you. Because the liminal spaces right now, and I think that there might be even some frustration. You might be feeling some level of frustration with this distracted, like not being able to like see like what's available for you, not being able to see the options, and this liminal space here, that can be a little bit frustrating. But your guides are saying like you have been persevering for so long, and so part of what, yeah, with this 5 of coins and this Ace of Swords and this 10 of Swords, bottom of the deck being this Page of Cups, it's actually a whole lot to walk away from. You know, this actually, when I see this, I see somebody who lived through a story, and that story is valuable because that Ace of Swords here, and this Page of Cups is like about an offer and like what this offers the world. And I saw that really like kind of powerfully is like, you have had some sort of experience that is so out there, so different, you know, so at the edge, right? You know, and you have had to pull from avenues of strength, and you've had this incantation is about like calling in the most, like, I want to say the most outer inner resources that you could possibly sort of get a hold of, and sort of being in the margins with this liminal space, with this 4 of Cups again, like not being able to see your way beyond that. And so whatever this story that you already lived through, I feel that that's very, very powerful here, because your guys are saying like the T on you, the celestial T on you is where you're coming from, what you lived through. And I'm seeing with this Ace of Swords here and this Ace of Swords here that both of those things, you know, this Ace of Swords, it's going to cut through the nonsense, and this Ace of Swords is a key that opens doors for you. And so there's something about this experience of 5 of Coins, being abandoned, being left out in the cold, being in these liminal spaces, being at this ledge, and this 10 of Swords experience of whatever that betrayal was, or whatever those series of disappointments were, whatever put you in this position where now to walk away from this necessitates such a massive transformation from a place that is hidden, from something that is hidden with this 4 of Cups, into some way of bringing this truth to light. And so your guides are saying, you know, they want you to take it a little easy. You know, there's an ease that they want you to bring to this process. But with this 10 of Swords, they're saying, you know, the T on you is that they've seen. They have seen, they know, they understand. They know what this battle has been like for you. But they also see the victory that you may not be able to perceive with that 4 of Cups. And there's still some work to be done in terms of walking away from the conditioning, but they're seeing that transformation and bringing out the truth from that place that is hidden, bringing out that experience in words, with that truth and that Ace and that of Swords expression about that 10 of Swords experience, that 5 of Coins experience. There's such value for that. And so, you know, your celestial guides are saying that there's a lot of value with that, and the message and taking action on this message is something that's important. But you have to move to a better place with it. You have to sort of work your way out of some of this conditioning and the emotional investment in like what it means to sort of be in a new kind of way of living in a new kind of life. There's a move that is taking place within you from this liminal space into something in the way of more visibility with this transformation. But what your guides are saying in terms of, so that's like the T, you know, and what your guides are saying about this process is that you're really kind of in it right now. And that taking action on this communication is going to take some sort of healing time. But you will find this Queen of Coins position. This is being established, and this is being established financially, and this is being established in terms of high regard and position. And so there is a promise in that with this Queen of Swords. Mastery over your mind, mastery over these conditioned responses, mastering over the body, and even the body's conditioned responses to a certain extent. It's a type of work on yourself that they're talking about you like being in the midst of doing. And so I want to look at who is watching over you right now. I want to see sort of particularly who watches over you right now, because this is a lot. This is not, does it lead well? Knight of Swords, Queen of Coins, it leads very well. You know, like that's sort of like where we have a little bit of a promise. But getting you to be able to sort of see the direction forward, getting you to kind of call forth that strength to pull yourself from this ledge, wherever you have been left in terms of this conditioning, moving from this hidden place and into this transformation that you're meant to undergo, that you're already starting to undergo. It does take a reckoning of truth around this 5 of Coins thing that you lived through and this 10 of Swords experience that you endured. It takes grappling with that truth. It takes sitting with that truth. It takes acknowledging that truth. It takes making that truth something that, instead of like forcing you and some kind of submission, you know, it's something that you walk away from feeling empowered by the meaning you make of it. And that meaning you make of it is going to require being able to see it straight. And so there is a process here that your guides with the Queen of Swords have you in, you know, kind of thinking it through, working it through. And who watches over you is this Liberator. It's this energy of the Liberator. And so they're very invested in the story that you are in, because you have gone, you know, they're saying it's almost like this story of somebody who has like gone to defeat the dragon and bring back the treasure. You know, the truth of what this means for you, or what this has meant for you, or what this experience and journey has been for you is the treasure. But it's a story about the 5 of Coins. It's a story about the 10 of Swords. And instead of those stories being captors that keep you from ever seeing the light of day or looking up from the place of devastation that you have witnessed, you are meant to travel with this energy of the Liberator, this energy of the poet. And the poet expresses soul insights through symbolic language. This energy communicates with you through symbolic language. And this energy is here to liberate you. And so that is who watches over you. And so that's part of the T, is that you're traveling with this energy of the Liberator who communicates with you through symbols. And that you're working your way through, you know, this is kind of mental gymnastics to a certain extent. That Queen of Swords sort of calls you to get mastery over the mind in terms of what it means for you to actually think about this battle that you are meant to sort of look up from, but it requires you looking at it and bringing some truth, and that liberation comes in the form of that truth. And so I want to see what the heavens are really saying here with you. And the Hunter, you're really working at this. And the Temple. And to a certain extent, like this is, yeah, the Temple, the Nectar, and the Animal. Underneath that, we have the box, okay? So you're working your way out. And as you work your way out with the Venom, there's a lot that sort of comes up. And so your guide's saying, like, with this box here and the Venom there, and kind of the process of liberation that you're in, you, like, again, you are this bright light working your way through, like, these layers related to this Ten of Swords, Five of Coins situation, working your way through these layers, and it's sort of like with every layer that you work your way through, you get a broader perspective, and that hunter, you know, hunting for the truth, trying to find your way into a new perspective, trying to sort of, this incantation in this temple, bring in this temple energy, this holy energy. It's forming, like, the whole process is forming a kind of like precious substance of what it means to be you, and what it is to have like lived your life and be your life and be what your life has produced, like, with you. And this animal card really speaks of instincts. And so, like, your guides are saying, you know, this whole process of moving you off that ledge, you know, into a place of power where you're calling in that power and you're facing these truths and you're liberating yourself and you're looking up from what you think of the wreckage, and you're allowing for this poetry of symbolic language to influence what it means for you to set yourself free. It is going through these layers of like moments when the venom rises up, when you're feeling the venom of whatever it is that had pushed you to that point, when you're feeling the venom of whatever that marginalized position is, when you're feeling the venom around the losses that you faced because of whatever this Five of Coins, Ten of Swords situation was. Your guides are saying that they're watching you from the heavens with it, and they're watching you accept invitation after invitation after invitation from their holy assistants, you know, with this temple card there, to step into a broader, better, more transformed, more beautiful perspective over and over and over again. And that the nectar this creates at a celestial level, the value of what you're bringing in the way of the story of your life, through your efforts and instinct alone, fighting with instinct alone, you are a superstar. You are a celebrity in these heavens. And they want you to know that. They really, like, they truly do, because they do understand what this Five of Coins, Ten of Swords situation has been. They do know what it is for you to have offered up your life, to walk into the darkest, most bound places with this Ten of Swords and this Five of Coins. And to work your way out with little more than instinct alone, to have to go layer after layer after layer of releasing yourself from captivity and all of the conditioning along with that. They're proud of you. There's no two ways about it. And so with that, I want to see what they hope for you. What is it that they are hoping for you? That temple holds a promise. And the more you seek the truth and more you seek their wisdom, this Queen of Swords energy, like, you're gaining mastery over the mind. And the mind for you is significant in terms of, like, this Ace of Swords is speaking of words. It's speaking of truths. It's speaking of cutting through the nonsense and getting to the heart of it and putting that into action. There's a great deal of love that you're meant to bring to all of these situations. But whatever this process that the heavens are talking about, you know, that the celestials are kind of talking about, that you are in, you're going at it with a very keen mind, and your guides are saying that's the right thing to do. But they do need you to look up. They do need you to look up away from a perspective that can only see where things went wrong or could go wrong. They want you to train yourself away from that. Oceanic spells and rituals. They want you to come into a place of calm. You know, pile number one might be good for you as well, just because that came, two of these cards came out, the Poet and the Waterflight. Divine sensuality with making love and erotica. What they hope for you is they want you to move out of this warrior place, to move out of this place of looking at the battles that you've had to fight, looking at everything that has went into it, looking at the vantage point that it gave you, looking at those Ten of Swords, looking at those Five of Coins. They want you to take a lighter view of it. Because they're watching a different, you know, the Celestials are saying that if we were watching a movie, they're watching a different movie. They're watching someone more like the character of Joan of Arc. They're watching something more like I'm seeing the Mother of Dragons. You know, when they look at you, the experiences that you've had, and what they've made of you, and what they've done to the substance of your soul, and what they've done to the nectar that you bring to them when they regard you, is something to the tune of divine sensuality. It's sort of, there is an, like they are experiencing like your warrior self as being this champion, this victory, this bringer of victory and this bringer of truth. But you don't get to really experience that victory with that hunter in that temple until you get to some form of arrival, in terms of feeling like you are beautiful, you are valued, you are actually like, there's an attraction. You know, the celestials, there's, with that divine sensuality, there's a certain attraction. And with this time and tide and oceanic spells, this speaks to the healing rituals that they want you to put in place to release yourself from the heaviness in your body, to release yourself from the burdens that have plagued you from the past, and to be able to look very clearly and contemplate very clearly what it is that you have been able to assemble in the way of wisdom, and what it is that you are be able to assemble in the way of knowledge with that Queen of Swords, and allow that to help you release yourself. And as you release yourself and as you put that into communication, and a lot of this is very instinctual, you will be liberated. There will be a liberation. And the liberator that is with you is working diligently to come in through this experience that you have at the ledge and to help you take action on establishing yourself. And there is this liminal place of like what it means to be doing that work. But your guides are saying that, you know, what they're saying about you, what they're hoping for you, is that you're able to bring your head up, that you're able to start to create into these oceanic spells and rituals and release these burdens and see, really truly see who you are, how the divine regards you, and what you're walking around with in the way of beauty and sensuality and power of like a truly alluring nature. And so pile number 2, you've been through a lot. There's a transformation that you're undergoing. As a transformation out of this hidden space. I would check pile number 1 because there is definitely some symmetry here. That venom that comes up, before we leave, I just kind of want to see what your guides want to do about, there does seem to be like, you're releasing poison right now. With the Lover's card here though, like this is a maturity and a blooming, you're blooming. Yeah, like this releasing of venom that is happening as you move away from and walk away from the tyrant, you know, the judge, and you move into that space of spells and rituals that are going to bring you peace, that are going to bring you into communication with the divine, looking up from the place of the losses, allowing those burdens to be cast away, allowing that heaviness to lift, that weightlessness, being able to then reflect on this 5 of Coins, 10 of Swords experience, apply that truth with that Queen of Swords, doing so very instinctually. It's gonna bring up the venom. But each time you move through this process of like finding the truth and finding your way through these boxes and through these constraints, every time you liberate yourself from another level, you're getting more and more mature, and it's a maturity that you desire, and it's toward a life that you desire that is outside the comfort zone of the liminal space, but actually what you want. And so where your guides kind of want to leave you with this, with the Sagittarius card and the opportunity, and the Destiny and the Libra and the Moon with feelings, is that while this is a challenge, as this venom comes up, you're going to just want to bolt, you know, but your guides are saying that, you know, instead of bolting from those negative feelings every single time they, you know, rise up, every time you become aware of them, instead of bolting from them and running away from them, you know, it's associated with these fears around the 5 of Coins, 5 of Coins abandonment, 5 of Coins left out in the cold, not experiencing life, not invited, not participating, not having the means, not having the resources. And this 10 of Swords is just not being able to stand up again after the wounds that you've suffered have been inflicted. That's going to be this like this resignation almost, especially with the 4 of Cups distracted by that resignation. Every single time you are like releasing yourself and liberating yourself from a story that holds you captive, every single time that you step into this divine sensuality and this beauty within yourself and what it is to show up and move towards this Queen of Swords position, that venom will rise, that anger from the past, that hurt from the past, those memories and even those fears. And instead of bolting away from them, instead of running away from them, you're invited to see these things as an opportunity towards your destiny. That releasing these things, making meaning of these things, is also releasing them. Forgiving them is releasing them. And then that moves you towards this destiny where there is hope for justice, even though there might be overwhelm in the process. There is a challenge here with the healing that has to happen. And you're doing it very instinctually. You are being led. The liberator is with you. But it's going to be a process of release. And so your guides are saying, accept the process of release, see it as destiny, see everything that has ever come against you as an opportunity to make meaning, and in that meaning, transform your perspective, and with that new perspective, and the poet energy and the divine sensuality energy, bring it into the world as a gift with this lover, you know, like the lover. The celestial tea on you is that you are the lover. You are the loved, the beloved. And that this liberation is, it's like your guys are saying, like, this has been hard, you know, they're like, because I feel the venom, I feel the challenge, and I feel that it's in relationship to any of that, like, divine sensuality. But your guys kind of want to bring a lightness into it and say, like, yes, getting out of this box, setting yourself free, this whole action of liberation around this situation that was 5 of Coins and 10 of Swords. You came to encounter this story and set yourself free and set everybody attached to this story free along with you. There is truth to that. If you're willing to accept it, it's there. If you don't need that, your guides are saying, you know, despite all of this overwhelm, whenever this stuff comes up, this challenge holds a present, it holds a gift. And your guides want to sort of leave you with this notion of, like, yes, you're very much in this process, but the tea on you is that you will be liberated, that you're going to slay this dragon, that you're built for it, and that as that venom comes up for release, it gets released, and you're lighter with every single time that it happens. Bottom of the deck energy says, face the facts, dum-dum. You have to be real with yourself about the current life you are living and the gap between the life you want to live and the life your daily habits are leading you towards. Everything you want is waiting for you on the other side of hard work and consistency. Ouch, right? But this is really what it means to face the venom, because the venom is what keeps you from even being able to consider, you know, like, the venom keeps you exhausted, the venom keeps you overwhelmed. And so when you face the facts of what it's going to require to overcome this 5 of Coins and this 10 of Swords, in a lot of ways that is calling in a level of strength that can get you for more than just hanging on at this edge, and into a place where, instead of running away from those big feelings, you're facing those feelings, and you're facing those feelings in a way that allows you to put meaning to it, that liberates you enough so that the weight is less that you're carrying. And in that, you can begin to really think about the changes that you want to make along the lines of, like, stepping into this place of the Lover's cards. It's about a place of maturity, leaving comfort zones for something you really truly want. Is also really acknowledging what you really truly want. And even though there's challenge, and even though there's fear in the form of venom that comes rushing out, you're meant to face that fear and really get serious about throwing positivity around like it's confetti. If you litter negativity everywhere you go, you're going to have a lot of trash around you. So go gather up those positivity bubbles and unleash those bad boys all over the freaking place. Just throw copious amounts of happiness all over, all the time. Seriously, throw it in everyone's face, because the Crusader of Happiness, become the Crusader of Happiness, keep the good vibes alive. This is hard, right? You know what I mean? Like that when with overwhelm and feelings, and having come from this 5 of Coins place and this 10 of Swords place, and even being still with it, you're still with that 5 of Coins. It's sort of still left you there. There is this aspect of, like, physical fatigue and overwhelm here with this 10 of Swords. But there's something about this truth that, when faced, has the capacity to liberate, and there is an energy with you in the form of that liberator. And so there is a call to sort of engage with hope and, like, move towards this holiness, move towards this hope, because that's what your guides are sort of hoping for you. You know, they understand what's between you and that liberation. You know, this box here and the facts, you know, is kind of speaking of the same process of challenge where, you know, with every enlightenment, with every effort, with every pushing forward, there is a release, but there's also this venom that comes up that has to be dispensed with so you can take that extra step and that extra step and that extra step. And with each step, you get closer to this point. This is this point of liberation. And so there is this having to take these steps, and it is going to take following your intuition, following that instinct. But you've got a lot of help. And I think there's just a little bit more. I don't really just want to leave it there. I feel like we need like a little bit of encouragement with this particular reading, because it kind of does speak of like, you know, putting in the hard work, but it also says you have a strong destiny, and that strong destiny is leading you towards a justice that you can't even conceive of at this time. And it is that Queen of Coins. And that Knight of Swords speaks of action that's being taken right now, that you've begun to take right now in your life towards that position of Queen of Swords, is in attending to this point of captivity. And it is in attending to these rituals and the letting go and the reflecting and releasing. And so the last little bit that your guides kind of want to leave you with, what they hope for you and what they're seeing. And this is the T, you know, they're kind of like, this is the process. This is where we're at with this. It's really tough. But you have been doing the work, and they are proud of you, and you are moving in the right direction, and you have taken action. But you're in a little bit of a liminal space, and there's something to be said for allowing for that. Sing your own song. This is about finding your voice. Sweet results await. Set healthy boundaries. So, you know, that's kind of where we are with this process. There's time to heal. That's this liminal space. It's about finding these boundaries of what you're capable of and not capable of, these boundaries around what you know, what the goal looks like and how you're going to get there. These boundaries around what you allow yourself to sort of entertain in the way of focus and what you release yourself from. And so these oceanic spells and rituals that are about this liminal space, that are about this healing, it's something that you're meant to set up. You're meant to set up structures and rituals in your life that will allow you to find it easier to access your voice. And as you release these burdens, as you do the work of making meaning and forgiveness and release, because that's all for you, these sweet results await. And so some of this reflecting on the past is going to require healthy boundaries. And that is part of the work here with destiny and justice and overwhelm. But it is time to heal. You're going to have the space to heal. This is a time of releasing that venom, lifting up, and stepping into that divine sensuality that you represent in the celestial realms. And so with that, pile number 2, I'm going to leave this. I am just so impressed with your message. There's just so much there that came through. And I hope that it is landing in a way that really does bring some level of healing. So I will see you again soon. Okay, pile number 3, those of you that chose the rabbit, let's go ahead and see what is the celestial tea on you. What are the heavens saying about you? Let's take a look and see what the celestial tea on you is. Cards are kind of sticking. Let's see. With the mentor, the crone, and the Animal Monday, and the healer. That's quite a... they see you as a great teacher, as a mentor. And with the crone there, you're carrying some really valuable ancient wisdom, especially along the lines of that Anima Mundi. You are, like, I want to see something here about where you are, like, because there's something about where you're located that's interesting. Let me take a look. So you're bringing great healing to yourself. You're bringing great healing to others. The celestial tea on you is that you are... There's something cool here. Let me just get some more cards, actually. Because that Anima Mundi is like everything within you is coming into a certain kind of harmony and a certain kind of coherence here. And again, that crone speaks to like a ancient knowing, an ancient wisdom. I'd even go so far as to call it an ancient indwelling. And so let's take a look at this mentor card. With the 7 of Cups and the 2 of Swords, there's something here about like confusion and blockages. Six of Pentacles. I mean, I definitely see that you're not seeing your value in all this. I mean, there's no two ways about that. With a mentor and the Two of Swords and the Seven of Cups, it's kind of like you're leading without a clear sense of where you're going. But it's going to be okay. Like, I think that's part of what the celestial tea is. Part of what is being spoken about you is that you seem to be accurately leading the way without actually knowing where you're going. And this is sort of like, so it's like the way that you're leading is being established with you, for you, as you move along, and you're not really using that much. It's funny, it's like this is heavily intuition led. And with the crone there, that wisdom that you hold, that the value of the wisdom that you hold really is going to establish you. There's a lot happening within you right now, a lot in the way of transformation with this Anima Mundi, a lot of synthesizing, taking on really big, broad concepts, a lot that wants to come through you. And there's a change, the chapter has changed, the book has even changed, and there's a lot of communication here. And so your guides kind of want to say with the Six of Pentacles being about reciprocity and generosity and the healer, that the celestial tea on you is that you've got something coming in the way of being established, or an establishment, that you've been sort of flying somewhat blind, but that it will establish you, and probably the way that you assume that it might. Let me get some more information. I am a little curious about this process here. There's a block here that you have to find your way through. And I think that this is kind of speaking to the moment that you're in. That mentor, again, you're leading the way, you're led like by spirit. There's no two ways about it. But what it means for you to get clear, and like remove this blockage of some level of confusion, like that's part of what this process is with this Nine of Coins, establishing yourself. There's a lot of fear that you have. Queen of Coins on the bottom of the deck, Queen of Pentacles here. There's a lot of fear that you have in terms of like operating from that position, with the Hermit card here. So whatever that block is, it's related to that Hermit card. And so the tea on you is that you're impressing everyone, and they're starting to see this part of you that has been like buried alive almost, that crone, that like ancient wisdom. Ten of Coins and Queen of Pentacles. So the celestial talk is that you are worth a lot, that you are valuable, that you are valuable to them, that you are valuable to the heavens. But this Two of Swords and the Knight of Wands, and again, we've got a Two of Swords mental block around getting started. We've got a Two of Swords mental block about clarity related to like certain types of focus. And so the talk on the, the celestial talk is like, yeah, you have this incredibly valuable thing, with this Queen of Pentacles is coming out again. Queen of Pentacles. This is going to be like matriarch, queen, queen of the land, queen of resources. This is a great deal of financial abundance with that Ten of Coins. So what you've got going on in terms of this crone energy, this wisdom energy, is going to establish you. You're moving through this like not really being led by anything like tangible, and that's where this Nine of Coins work has to be done. But we do see this block with the Two of Swords. You've got a mental block about doing things a certain kind of way, or with a certain kind of effort. Credit where credit's due. The celestial tea on you is that you're carrying a lot. It's like you're pregnant with this Anima Mundi, with this everything that's trying to sort of break through. And that new chapter where there's a lot of communication, this is going to be a little bit of wrangling, but there's a tremendous amount of generosity for you in this healing process. And this arrival does seem sort of be a healing process, because whatever this blockage is, it's related to some form of like unhealed. It might even be a running from something instead of like a facing something. We did see that a little bit with pile 2. So that might be some of what we're talking about here. I want to see who watches over you. Let's take a look and see who watches over you before we have some questions for our guides in this respect. The networker, the drunk, yep, and the beggar. the femme fatale. So this is interesting who's watching over you, because you've got a divine feminine energy watching over you who really wants to work with you in terms of your own sense of your own desire to be desired, the substance of desire, operating with desire, working with desire, having that be a part of what it is that you're meant to sort of participate in here. Because we do have this energy of the crone, and we do have this energy of the mentor, but with this Queen of Pentacles, we had other Queen of Pentacles. What this blockage is, with this Nine of Coins, establishing yourself, like there seems to be something about the crone and the queen, and this energy of the femme fatale is like about harnessing that, I want to call it Kundalini energy, of creative energy, of passion energy. And that like, and there's something so powerful about the substance of desire that you have always sort of had as being a part in your Queen of Pentacles. I keep on seeing the Queen of Pentacles as being beautiful, gorgeous, established in glory, clothed in like velvet, beauty, regal, like amazing. And Spirit is saying, like, this is you, that the crone that is the value of what you hold in the way of ancient wisdom, the value of what you hold in the way of your position and what it means to position you with this Anima Mundi coming through, like your new chapter of communication. That World card feels pregnant with information. And so your guys are saying with this Ten of Pentacles legacy that you're meant to have, you first have to be able to conceive of yourself as this regal energy, as this beautiful, like gorgeous, amazing. Like you have to be able to like see that people see you in this light, and not reflect back at them scorn that comes from you not being able to properly see yourself in this light. There does seem to be this disconnect with that Two of Swords, this blockage about even where your guides are allowing you to get started, because you have been led by the Spirit, you have been led by spiritual energies, you have been in this mentor place where you're teaching from what you've been led, but there's still this way in which you're confused about where you're going. Like you're not really, you don't even know, you're just kind of almost running. This does feel like running away energy to a certain extent, I'm not going to lie. And so with this Two of Swords, especially with this Knight of Wands, like the mental blockage about how you get things done is like in a frightening, like fear, get it done. You know what I mean? Like have to, like, you know, and your guides are saying that they need you to see yourself a little bit differently, that the healing that has to happen here and the receiving that has to happen here and the guide that is with you in the form of that femme fatale, that erotic sort of energy, opens your heart when your dependency is rejected. Here, let me just see this, because this has this child nature, kind of like keeping yourself. So this highlights the erotic energy of the feminine, opens your heart when your dependency is rejected. And the shadow attribute is inappropriate use of sensuality, attachment to money and power. And so this is where like it gets a little bit tricky, because this is an energy that wants you to step into that value, that Queen of Coins kind of place. That's a very Queen of Coins energy is dressed better than anybody else. I mean, she is in the most gorgeous regalia. And so what it means for you to properly operate within that, like almost even like sexual allure place, because it's yours, as something that you own, as something that's not objectifying you, but something that you command, you know, like it's your birthright, it's your legacy, it's part of your legacy. And so when you're able to sort of see that part of what watches over you is constantly trying to coax you into a sense of your own sensual value. And I do think that all the piles are related, I'm not gonna lie. Pile number 2, we had some of this, you know, and pile number 1, there were certain aspects too. So if you do feel called to the other piles, there might be something there. But like overall here, you know, one of the energies that is with you heavily is trying to get you out of this block, because that lack of, you know, it's like that mentor you're leading without really like looking or giving yourself or anything or allowing yourself to really receive. And then that place, where that places you and what you have to give to the world and what you have to bring through you in the way of communication, and again, how that places you, there needs to be some healing work. The guides that are with you need to do some healing work with you about receiving attention and not getting mad about it, or not trying to sort of deflect it with some like, oh, I'm just a poor beggar energy here. Because there is some kind of a way in which your guides are waiting for you to get past this blockage on self-love, because this networker is the energy that is with you, that is going to take the work that you put out there, take what you create, take what you're leading with in terms of this mentor energy and that crone energy, and establish you with that 9 of coins energy. But you have to sort of step out of this place where you have no ability to tolerate a feedback loop. And I know that sounds a little bit harsh, but your guides are bringing it through very, very clear, because where they want to, with this networker energy that travels with you and watches you over you, is also watching over your life, watching over your creation, and responsible for bringing that into as many hands as can hold it, as many hands as you can holding it, tolerate holding it. And what that when that feedback comes to you that says like you are sort of amazing and beautiful and incredible, and you immediately are like, no, I'm like, I can't be that mean, you know what I mean? Like there's something that about your place here with the beggar card, because there's an energy that's trying to get you to overcome. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, in the shadow attribute, the beggar is dependence on others to the exclusion of effort. You know, again, like there is some effort to be made here about related to this blockage and what you're capable of having in the way of feedback and having in the way of success. Because this is in relationship to success. This blockage is like, I don't want success. I'm afraid of success. If too many people look at me, they're going to see me. If too many people see me, they're not going to understand. If they're not going to understand, it's only going to hurt me. You know what I mean? Like I get that from this 7 of Cups, 2 of Swords. And the Hermit and the 9 of Coins is like, this has been a long journey of sort of like carrying something and bringing something into the world, but it only gets so far because it's, again, this Hermit position here that has to transform into this 9 of Coins position. And so this energy of the beggar is kind of helping you step into responsibility, helping you step into position and place, and owning what you have to offer, and owning sort of the majesty that you bring when you bring this message with the mentor here. And so that's this. So who watches over you is this energy of desire, and desire to be desire, and working with desire, and allowing yourself to manage desire. This is kind of a big deal with you. That networker is talking about bringing your message to a much broader group, but we have to move through this healing around the beggar energy, because in light attribute, the beggar energy confronts empowerment at the level of physical survival, awakens the spiritual authority of humility, compassion, and self-esteem. This is a self-esteem journey for you. And so the T on you is that you're bringing something valuable, that you are meant to be positioned in this way, that this is what you have earned, that this is your inheritance, and that you're going to get there. And so what they hope for you is very much like that you're going to get there, that you're getting there, that this healing process is all about receiving. This healing process is about receiving yourself as this gorgeous, amazing, beautiful, incredible, like unstoppable, you know, and worthy of every ounce of attention, worthy of every ounce of kind regard, worthy of every ounce of support. Like this is all, you know, something that you have to work with. And then that Anima Mundi is about communicating the universe, you know, through and into a new chapter of a new book, maybe even in a new vantage point here. Lots of communication. But there's a need to grow up. And when I say grow up, I don't mean that you haven't been put through your paces and that you aren't a fully formed adult. But I do mean that grow up by you are crone, queen, 10 of coins, value, legacy, inestimable wealth. And that is what the celestial T is on you. And the guides that are watching over you, that are bringing you through this, are trying to get you to feel that beauty, that allure, that enchantment that you hold. They're trying to have you see yourself as having really achieved something incredible with the wisdom that you have gained. And they want you to slow down long enough to think about what it means to organize around receiving and healing for that receiving. And as you heal in that receiving, you will go farther with your message, because that energy of the networker travels with you. And as you let go of all of this fear around your worth with the beggar card, these energies kind of work together, you know, to free you in some ways. And so perspective, you know, it's sort of a big part of it. Embodied perspective, metamorphosis, departed, and roots, with the bottom of the deck energy being this liminal space. I do think that pile number 1 and 2 there is a common strain through all of these for some people, for sure. There's no two ways about it. And so this perspective on your value, that you're meant to embody, which is why that femme fatale energy of desire and being desired and being okay with desire and like being, you know, there's a lot there that has to happen here, because this metamorphosis, this change from where you are in a very kind of like confused, sort of blocked place, always having sort of been under this cloak in one way or another, into taking that anima mundi of the universe and bringing it into a new chapter of communication. This is a massive metamorphosis. This metamorphosis is the healer within transforming you. It brings in the bounty with that Six of Pentacles. But this perspective that you're meant to walk into, step into, participate with, and that you are doing that, you're doing it. And this is part of what is hoped for. This is what your guides are hoping for. Allowing you to have that crone be a badge of royal honor that establishes you. And this metamorphosis is about letting what is gone, letting what is finished, letting what no longer is, what no longer can be, go. Letting those stories of disappointment go, and stepping into it's a level of nourishment that is rooted in a sense of self that is like actually like goddess quality kind of energy to a certain extent. Let me just see a little bit more, get a final kind of piece of information about what your guides really hope for you, because what they're saying is you bring in the universe with your communication. This metamorphosis and positioning you and establishing you has a lot to do with removing the blockage about your worth, which is again inestimable. You need to see yourself as a queen worthy of that position. You need to see yourself as a queen, like worthy of that level of worship. And that's not necessarily hierarchical. Like this is you, you know, and that liminal space and what it means to move out of that liminal space, what it means to move out of this block, this mental block, is to root into a sense of yourself that is grand, to root into a sense of yourself that allows for those things that are unworthy of you to leave your focus, to leave what you're putting faith into. And that's what the heavens are saying about you, is that shifting that focus, shifting that perspective, and embodying this change around letting go of that which is not you, that which you don't have to run away from, that which you don't have to let to be a point of confusion, into this healing, which is, again, it's rooting into a new sense of self. Because I think a lot of the hurt is like rooted in a sense of self that is not true to who you are. But when you root in that sense of self that is true to your glory, and I'm actually hearing glory, you'll begin to get that nourishment. You really are a guide to so many with that mentor there. And with this energy field adjustment, this has to do with your perspective. You're being held in a liminal space for a little while longer. This is actually true of all three piles, I think, in one way or another. This metamorphosis and this changes as well. This air is speaking of breathing deep, entering into life, exchange of life-bringing energies. You have to receive. This is kind of this critical point. What your guides hope for you is that you begin to open up to what the universe has for you in the way of love, nourishment, seeing you as valuable, seeing you as royal, seeing you as in some ways exalted, wanting to establish you, wanting to bring those rewards into your experience. But it means taking in that air and allowing yourself to... It's interesting because I get two things. You're simultaneously the guide to so many. And at the same time, you're meant to allow for guidance to help remove these blockages around yourself, or help remove these blockages about what you're holding that needs to be let go of. And that's going to take time, and it's going to take putting in rituals, and not just daily rituals, daily checking in with the divine, but more than that, kind of establishing your environment in the way that is nourishing to you. And so your guides are saying there's a lot of blocks here around fear and getting started and getting all the way there and having what it takes, and the confusion and the feelings of insecurity and the feelings of inadequacy. But you are this Queen of Coins. You are meant to step into this Queen of Coins position here. The crone, the wisdom that you carry is your legacy, and it will establish you. And so with that, that's what the T is on in the celestial place. That's the T on you in the celestial place. And who watches over you are those that are really bringing you into this. This is a big self-worth pile right here. And what they want for you is to begin to bring in that nourishment, begin to bring in those stories that tell you you are loved, that tell you you are valuable, that tell you you have something so incredibly powerful to bring into the world with that work that you have done with that crone energy. And with that Anima Mundi energy, what you have to communicate of the universe has the power to really bring a lot of level of change. So let's have an energy adjustment here around perspective. You are loved and cared for, and you are doing something really powerful. And though there's overwhelm and though there's confusion, really talk to your guides, call in your guides about getting what you need in the way of nourishment related to the self-worth stuff. And that starts with having the inspiration that they're going to bring to you in terms of the practices that have to go into place to help you get there. And so with that, I'm going to actually extend this just one more minute and get us a little bit of direct communication so that we can end on a note of encouragement in terms of just a few words. I like those cards for that purpose. One more shuffle. And now let's go ahead. You guys are really proud of you for the work that you have done, even without much in the way of, like, you've been running away from something and you've gotten a great distance in terms of like what you've brought through the way of leadership, running away from something. But as you face it and you really are able to sort of like transform that wisdom into gold, I'm hearing, like transform that wisdom into gold. Like you can do it, you can. There's a little bit of work here in terms of what it means, you know, to trust the magic that love is all around you. But that really does seem to be the lesson. Yes. So the bottom of the deck is learn from the past. That crone energy is the learned from the past. That will establish you. As it establishes you, it really allows you to be open to the universe and what it means to bring through the universe in communication. And it's going to be pretty quick. And so this healing time with this liminal space is still, we're still in it, but establishing you is kind of around the corner. It just does mean that this removal of a blockage related to self-worth has to happen. And so as you begin to learn from the past, that's going to be letting your guides sort of lead you through looking back at some of that stuff to allow for those things that are in your root system that aren't feeding you nourishment to be removed so that you can root into things that are giving you nourishment, and that you're meant to sort of tap into this notion that you are surrounded. Your guides are wanting to repeat this, surrounded by love, and that you're meant to trust in the magic, and that you can trust in the magic, and that those energies that are supporting you in this establishment, that are supporting in your life in this effort, that you're meant to really believe into that, because there's an infinite number of possibilities that they're going to bring before you that you're going to be able to interact with. And your guides are saying there's been a lot of effort in this way where you're just running from something, creating to run from something, but they're going to hold your hand. They're all around you holding your hand through the process of stepping into the magic of what it means to really look at these things and be open to all of the possibilities that the past has to offer for you, to you. And so with that, there's generosity coming in. So that's what the T is. The celestial T on you is that there's a lot of generosity coming in, that it's all about you being able to learn how to receive, and that reception is underway, and that you are in the process of becoming. And so pile number 3, we're going to leave us there. I hope that was helpful, and I wish you all the best for the rest of this week, and I will see you again soon.